I would like to thank the organizers of this conference for the opportunity to present our paper in this conference. I'll be using my slide as a guide through this presentation. The conference is the 6th International Congress of Exercise and Sports Sciences that is conducted by the Academic College at Wingate, Israel. My name is Fabunmi, and the name of my co-author is Kajero. And the title of this presentation is The Association Between Professional Nursing Rank and Physical Activity Level Among Nurses at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, Nigeria. Sorry, I would like to also say that I work with the University of Ibadan as a lecturer. What's the background to this study? Of course, we are all knowledgeable about what physical activity is all about. When you decide to jog on a football pitch, you are involved in physical activity. When you walk from your house, probably to your place of work, if the distance is a walkable distance, then you're also involved in physical activity. World Health Organization defines physical activity as any bodily movement produced by skeletal muscles. And of course, once skeletal muscles are involved, it requires energy expenditure. If you look at the energy expenditure itself, it also plays an important role because it helps you to burn excess accumulated body fat, which enhances human health. Just like I said, any activity, walking, jogging, running, can be classified under physical activity. When you even climb the staircase, it's also a form of physical activity. And the walking has been generally accepted across all ages as a form of physical activity. When you look at the intensity of activity, I mean physical activity, there's a classification to 3. There is the low intensity physical activity, there is a moderate intensity physical activity, and there is a vigorous intensity physical activity. Between these 3 classes, the moderate intensity and the vigorous intensity are actually found to produce significant health benefit. On the contrary, particularly based on some of the studies we have conducted, we find that a lot of age groups are actually physically inactive, either because of the nature of their job or because of other issues. So physical inactivity has been found to be a major leading risk factor for mortality. So the tendency is, if you are not physically active, the tendency is that that person may not live long because of health conditions that might come up. Non-communicable diseases such as obesity, hypertension has been linked with physical inactivity. So in order to prevent all of these non-communicable diseases, we are expected to encourage the populace to be actively involved in physical activity. The focus of this study is actually on nurses. When we look at the hospital setting, we know we have many different health professionals, nurses being one of them. We have medical doctors, we have physiotherapists. I happen to be a physiotherapist. And then we have lab technologists, we have lab scientists generally. But in the hospital setting, nurses contributed a large proportion of the workforce. So when we're thinking of looking for a group for this study, we considered nurses because they actually contribute the largest portion of the workforce in the hospital. The aim of the study is to investigate physical activity level and determine its association with professional rank among nurses at the University College Hospital, Nigeria. Ethical approval was sought, obtained from the University of Ibadan, University College Hospital Research Ethics Committee before the study commenced. The research is a cross-sectional survey type. Participants were recruited based on their willingness and readiness to participate in the study. So all consenting and willing nurses were actually allowed to participate in the study. Data collection. The short form of IPAC. IPAC is the International Physical Activity Questionnaire. The short version was actually used to collect information on physical activity level among nurses. The other information that was obtained from among nurses was the professional rank. Of course, within the hospital system, the nursing profession, they have a professional rank from which they are promoted from the lowest level or the lowest cadre to the highest cadre in the profession. And after obtaining these two informations, data was analyzed using descriptive statistics of mean, standard deviation, frequencies, and percentages. Those are descriptive statistics. And then we also used inferential statistics of chi-square to test association between the professional rank and the physical activity level among nurses. Alpha level was set at 0.05. At the end of it, about 230 nurses willingly volunteered and were recruited to participate in the study. Their mean age, the mean age of the nurses that participated in the study was 40.4 plus and minus 8.2 years of age. So the mean age was actually 40.4 years. When we actually classified the intensity of the activity, out of the 230 participants, 174 participants had moderate and low physical activity levels. About 56 participants had high physical activity level. I have a table here which actually shows the distribution of physical activity level intensity as opposed to their ranking. And the rank that I have here happens to be the lowest level here is the nursing officer, and then they get promoted to the senior nursing officer, to principal nursing officer, to assistant chief nursing officer, to chief nursing officer, and then the highest level is the assistant director of nurses. Looking at this table here, at the lowest level of cadre, many of the participants actually had high and moderate physical activity level. But as we go to the higher level of cadre, fewer participants were involved in high intensity and moderate physical activity level. But when chi-square was used to analyze the data, we observed that there was actually no significant association between the nursing rank and the physical activity level. Though looking at the raw data, we could observe that the lower nursing cadre were more involved in physical activity, particularly at the high intensity level, whereas the nursing officers that at high cadre were less involved in high intensity physical activity. So, results, there was no significant association between nursing rank and physical activity level. But just like I said earlier on, the nurses at the lower cadre were more active than the nurses at the higher cadre. So our recommendation is that generally all the nurses within the hospital setting should be encouraged to take part in physical activity, particularly physical activity at the vigorous and the moderate intensity level. Recommendation for the university as for the hospital: it will be of advantage if the system, the administrators are actually able to put in place sporting activities or activities such as seminars, workshops that could further enlighten healthcare workers and encourage healthcare workers in improving their physical activity level, because we know that this will go a long way to help to improve their health and even their function as healthcare workers. I want to say thank you for the opportunity to present this paper. Thank you very much for listening.